Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third episode of the series Chess Run. In this episode, I would like to try to reach the ELO of 700. What makes 700 special is that once you get there, it means you're stronger than 55% of chess players on this platform. So that's something quite special and worth celebrating. So let's just dive into it. Okay, game one, we're playing with white. E4, just like in my previous videos, my opponent played e6. I think on this level, it's clearly obvious that chess players grasp some good opening concepts. And my opponent is playing e6. This is what we call the French opening. This is an opportunity to strike immediately in the center with two pawns, since black did not go for knight f6 to threaten the pawn, so I don't have to protect it. Now this move again, it's it's not the best move. We've talked about this before. Your queen is quite important, and a precious piece. You should not start the opening by bringing your queen into the game. Not like this, at least. Now my opponent is pinning my knight, hoping that I would just attack the queen because the queen then could capture the pawn. Check, the knight cannot capture because it's pinned. I'm first gonna deal with it quite normally. I'll develop a piece and protect the pawn with this piece. On the next move, I'll just develop with a tempo as we've mentioned before. So this queen is under attack. And now my opponent needs to do something about this. I can't think of a lot of moves for black. There's queen, of course. Now I could just try to, since two pieces are attacking this pawn and my opponent might eliminate the knight that's protecting the pawn, I could try to protect. I'm just gonna play simple chess. I'm gonna castle, and if my opponent captures, I'll capture back. And I don't care about this pawn for now. And I feel quite good about my chances. I think my pieces are quite developed. Now, this is something we've mentioned before. Don't move your piece twice. My opponent has violated this rule many times, not only with the bishop, with the queen as well. Now I'll just fork. A fork is when you attack two pieces at the same time, at least. I mean, in some cases, you could attack more pieces, especially with the knight. With the bishop, you could also do it. Imagine you have many figures. Your opponent has many figures on the same color and attacked and placed on the same diagonal. Then your bishop will just go for it. This move is not achieving anything really. I think my opponent is hoping that I would capture here, they could capture back, and then bring the rook and start an attack. I'm just gonna kill their hopes and capture the bishop first. We'll get to the knight later. And as I said, I like playing. Now almost all my pieces are activated. One piece is missing, which is the bishop, the dark squared bishop. I could do that, but I would like to simplify maybe. Jump with the knight and exchange, but maybe my opponent will jump and try to punish me. Uh, if black plays knight g4, hoping to checkmate with the queen, I would just push the pawn. Let's see what my opponent is going to do about this. My opponent is refusing my offer to exchange. So what I could do now, I'm just gonna start attacking this queen. I mean, ideally, you would have to play something more solid. I'm creating some weaknesses on the king side where I castled, but I'm always relying on tactics. On that level, it's quite important that you do not make huge mistakes. By that, I mean something like this, because now I capture and this queen is under attack. If you play solid chess and you follow the rules and you don't do anything crazy, it's just a matter of time before your opponent does something crazy themselves. And in that case, I think, I'm not quite sure. Um, I think this does not achieve anything because I could just capture. And now this is another fork. Um, and I will show you something interesting. We've mentioned it or we talked about it in the previous. Okay, now this is it's not it's not gonna be a long game, I guess. I was hoping my opponent would just move away or go somewhere else. And then before I capture this knight, because my knight is under attack, I would just move it somewhere, maybe deliver a check. And then once I capture, my bishop is protecting the knight. All of this did not happen. My opponent blundered the game. And now this is going to be checkmate. Doesn't matter if it's with the queen or with the rook. I'll actually do it with the queen because with the rook, if they block with knight e7, I would just capture with the rook, and it's not checkmate yet. Now it's almost checkmate. My opponent could block, I could take, they could try to do something. There's not much to do. It's just checkmate in a few moves. Doesn't matter what you do. And exactly, checkmate. Yeah. Okay. Next game. We get to play with the white pieces again. That's pretty nice. I've mentioned in the first video that you usually go for something conventional, which is you jump with the knight and attack the pawn, activate a piece. But I'm just gonna strike with this pawn, strike the center, and this is what we call. I mean, it could develop into many things, but what I've done right now basically is what we call the center gambit. It's gonna be a gambit if I give up the pawn. A gambit is when you give up a pawn for compensation, and that's where the term Queen's Gambit comes from, because you give up this pawn. Um, we'll we'll get to that at one point, I hope. Um, but as I said, on this level, you don't have to really worry much about openings. In theory, there's a lot to learn, and it's actually quite easy to obtain this knowledge. You could watch just a bunch of videos and learn everything that needs to be learned about certain openings. But for now, for this level, so that you don't get overwhelmed with all the information, I would just say play solid chess, follow the rules, place pawns in the center or pieces, activate, and castle short or long, and start attacking. I think my opponent is a little bit surprised with this move because they're gonna take, and I hope they do. I mean, there are some lines where black could play d6, and then I capture, they capture back, and then I could exchange queens. It's a little bit better for white, not much. I mean, it's not like winning, but um, black would struggle with the king because the king cannot castle. If the king moves, once the king moves, you've lost the right to castle. Um, I think this is not going to happen in this game. My opponent is thinking and thinking deeply about this position on the second move, which is interesting.
2,000 years later.
Okay, let's just ignore this game. Now we get to play with the black pieces, which is nice. I'm gonna stick to what I've played in the previous episodes. So I'm just placing a pawn in the center. Okay, I'm gonna deal with the threat. This is the scholar's mate. My opponent is gonna play the same thing. I push, attack. My opponent will retreat. I block. The knight is blocking the queen, preventing the checkmate. This is how you deal with the scholar's mate. Um, Yeah, I was hoping someone on that level would not go for cheesy. I wouldn't call this an opening. It's not an opening, of course. An opening is something you could play properly. Um, but yeah, my opponent is. I could just capture this pawn. It's a free pawn. To capture back, I could capture with a knight. Um, keep things simple. Yeah, I could push, protect my knight, and now I'm gonna play this move. I'm gonna show you the importance of castling as fast as possible. Yeah, if you look at the position from White's perspective, White has only developed two pieces and retreated with the queen, played the queen, went first, queen h5, queen f3, queen d3. So three moves. Within these three moves, like I castled, and now I could just do this. Of course, this is now protected by my bishop. If the queen captures my knight, I will pin, and it's GG. Aside from the fact that I have a fork now, and this bishop is um, my opponent will probably block with the bishop. Otherwise, it's going to be really challenging. And now this is a triple fork. And this is what I meant. A fork could be more, could attack, you could attack more than just one figure. And I'm up a queen, and now I'm up a queen. I'll just take here and then checkmate. I can pre-move it even. My opponent resigned. Okay, moving on to game 3. But before I do, I would like to show you once again how to defend against this. The threat is this pawn. If you push, they just cheese you and you lose a rook. So you take care of that. And usually white relies on the fact that black will play this impulsive move, which is attacking the queen, but it doesn't do anything. It's not protecting this pawn. So this is checkmate. So you should avoid that. So first you have to deal with the threat. You prevent or block this diagonal. The queen comes back. You play this. Of course, there's also the queen b3, which is annoying. Then you would have to play something like this. And then you could jump with your knight. You play bishop g7, you castle. It's not a problem at all for black because white, as I said, is only playing with two pieces, which is not great. You shouldn't do that. You should play, as I said, something more stable or more solid. Okay, my opponent played this. I hope they wouldn't go for the same tactic, or I'm just gonna prevent it anyways. I'm gonna play this move and attack this pawn. Um, I could take the pawn. I'll just take it. It's a free pawn. Why not? If the queen comes, I could just push. Yeah, it's not a nice position for white. Yeah, I'll just push. And now I have two pawns in the center, a knight. On the next move, I'm just gonna capture this knight. Why would I do that? Basically because I would like to do some damage to pawn structure of white. This move is just, I don't know, because why not? This is attacked by two. I just added another defender. And I would like to simplify because I'm up a pawn. And of course, I have the superior pawn structure. Um, I'll get to that once maybe we cross 1000, because then it becomes more and more relevant. This concept of pawn structures, double pawns, pawn islands, all these terms. You don't have to worry about them for now. But this is not good. This is also not, this was not good, and my opponent just helped me, and it's quite nice and generous of my opponent. And now I castle long, attacking this pawn at the same time. I just capture the pawn. A lot of free pawns today. I can't complain. And now I've successfully activated all my pieces. All that remains is to bring this rook, double the rooks. Of course, I could also simplify. I would simplify by doing this. And this is a fork now. I did sacrifice my rook for a knight, but I'm getting this. I'm getting this back. So it's not a sacrifice. It's actually I'm winning a pawn. I won a pawn in this exchange. It's this pawn. Okay, my opponent is just going for king activity since it's the end game. And end games are usually when it's kind of safe to play or to move your king, to advance the king, start advancing the king. Um, of course, I have this nice tactic right now. Could just do this. If my opponent captures, this is what we call. I mean, when I check, I always look. This is an important thing, of course. I think it's also intuitive. Whenever you are looking for moves, sometimes it's you don't know what to do because this position, yeah, I'm up some pawns, but it's not so clear how to go further. I could just start marching my pawns down the board, but it's not like my opponent is just gonna stand still and look at me promoting my pawns. So it's not really clear what to do about it, but this move is a very forcing move because it's a check. And we always look for checks when we play. I intentionally gave up the pawn because I'm hoping to give another check. This is a check. And now my opponent has blundered the rook. In this position, they could have retreated with the king, but it would still like I mean, it's already lost. This position is not so nice because it's not only that I'm up 3 pawns, these pawns are doubled, so it's not like I wouldn't count these as 2 pawns. And now it's just a question of time before my opponent resigns. If you would like to play what we call commercial chess, you could do this and capture the bishop, because the bishop is the last figure on the board that could give you a headache. And then you just advance. And then I play this in case of check. I capture once again. Now I'm attacking this, just gonna capture. Okay, and now this side is kind of like stabilized or not. My opponent gave me yet another pawn. Now I'm up 3 pawns and a knight, so six points. Yeah, how do you convert such a position? Just promote a queen and give a checkmate with a queen. If you don't know how to checkmate with a queen, you could. I have a little video, like a short video on my channel. You could have a look at it. It's quite easy. Or keyword copycat. You could just it's quite easy, and even if you don't know the concept, you could just manage. Okay, maybe we play one more game, and hopefully we get to. We're not gonna get to 700, but maybe we get to 650. Just gonna go for. Okay, my opponent immediately challenged my pawn, placed the pawn in the center. This is what we call the Scandinavian defense. A lot of chess players are playing it these days, even chess masters, grandmasters, FIDE masters. Now this is a check. Of course, this opening has many. This defense has many theories behind it, and has many layers. But you're basically just activating your queen by capturing the pawn or exchanging two pawns in the center. I'm just gonna block the check. Normally, perhaps I will play knight f3, challenging this queen, and then castle, just play normal chess. I think my opponent is quite familiar with this because they're blitzing their moves. What I am familiar with actually in this position is maybe once we finish the game, I could analyze it a little bit further, show you. But usually, when you attack the queen with your knight, the queen slides here. Black plays c6 in order to have some to create some like an escape path for the queen in case the queen gets harassed. And this is what I'm gonna do right now. I'm threatening a fork. Um, Hard to deal with it, to be honest. I don't see how what black should do. And this is not a great move because now the bishop is blocked. Of course, I could just, I'm just gonna ignore this and play simple chess, castle, king in safety, safety first, getting rid of this pin on my bishop. So I'm preparing something, let's say. I don't need to develop this bishop yet. I'm just gonna bring my rook here. And by doing that, I am setting up another trap. Um, and this is the third thing or fourth thing you should be looking for when you're looking for, let's say, nice moves or candidate moves. You look for checks, exchanges, captures, recaptures. You look for forcing moves, and you look for indirect attacks. Um, this move doesn't really do much, to be honest. I could just play this, for example, and threaten many things, let's say. But my opponent is now attacking my pawn, which is a nice trick. I could just play this, I guess. And now I'm doing the same, but in my case, it comes with a check, since this king is not developed yet, not castled. So it makes a little bit of a difference. Yeah, I'll just go for it. And now, this move, because I activated my bishop, potentially threatening a check and attacking this knight. If I would have to summarize what my opponent, like what went wrong for my opponent, basically just this opening, you don't play it this way. The idea of this opening is just to, yeah, you activate your queen, but you still don't waste a lot of time making some moves with the queen. And now I could, so let's calculate it together, actually. I could give a check. The king has to go somewhere else, right? Has to slide here or there. If the king, so check, if the king goes here, I could give a check. And it looks like it's a checkmate because I have two bishops that are slicing the king. The king could cover with the bishop, however. But this is exactly what I want because after all of this is over, like there's gonna be a little explosion. We're gonna exchange the bishops. The king is gonna land here. And I think you know what that means. fork. And now I capture the queen, threatening the rook. I think my opponent will capture back. They did not, but I was hoping for something like this, and then check, check, and of course it's just a question of time before we deliver a checkmate. There are many ways to deliver a checkmate, of course. Even in this position, I could have just played this and kept just haunting the king. Okay, 655 is quite good. I think I've mentioned 700 is like you're stronger than 55% of chess players on the platform on chess.com. I think 655 is like 50%, so I'll take it. It's good for now. Hope you had fun. See you in the next video.